Once upon a time, transshipment was a practice that allowed goods to be transferred from one country to another through the ports of a third country. For India and Bangladesh, this practice was mutually beneficial, creating a bond in their trade relations. However, when this arrangement was disrupted, it brought about significant changes to the established trade routes and economic connections that had flourished between the two nations. As the agreement faced cancellation, it reflected India's evolving political strategy. It seemed that perhaps India aimed to cast a shadow over Bangladesh's recent diplomatic successes. This decision, however, was not without its consequences, as it also risked tarnishing India's own reputation on the international stage. In response to this unexpected turn of events, Bangladesh demonstrated remarkable agility and efficiency in managing its international trade. This swift reaction was not just a necessity, it showcased Bangladesh's ambition to present itself as a reliable trade partner within the region. With the backdrop of changing dynamics, Bangladesh began to invest in developing its own efficient business processes, particularly in the fast-evolving telecommunications sector. This step was not merely a reaction, but a proactive move that significantly improved the overall economic performance of the country. As India's support seemed to fade away, Bangladesh found itself exploring alternative trade routes. This shift encouraged Bangladesh to rely more on neighboring countries like Pakistan for shipping goods, reflecting a new chapter in its trade relations. Moreover, Bangladesh's response to India's actions underscored the significance of communication in the arena of international relations. It became clear that transparency could have played a key role in easing tensions and avoiding misunderstandings. The speaker noted a crucial point: Bangladesh was no longer in a subordinate position. The nation was asserting itself, eager to gain recognition for its political and economic achievements. This shift in perspective marks a pivotal moment for future relations between the two countries. However, concerns surfaced regarding India's approach to bilateral agreements. Many felt that India's unilateral decisions, particularly concerning river usage and transit fees, lacked reciprocity. This realization sparked important conversations about the need for renegotiation. A warning echoed through discussions about a potential ideological shift within India's bureaucracy under the Modi government. This change raised questions about the possible adverse effects it could bring for both nations, impacting the delicate art of professional diplomacy. Additionally, the perceived security risks tied to India's cargo transport through Bangladesh shed light on the complexities surrounding regional cooperation and trade agreements. Historical tensions continued to influence the diplomatic relations between the two countries. Meanwhile, China's increasing economic and security ties with Bangladesh began to reshape the balance of power in South Asia. This emerging partnership hinted at the possibility of significant changes in regional security dynamics as time went on. However, a sense of concern arose with India's deployment of advanced military technology near the Bangladesh border. This buildup of arms was viewed with alarm, perceived as a tangible threat to Bangladesh's sovereignty and security. In light of these challenges, Bangladesh made a strategic shift, highlighted by the appointment of Dr. Khalil as a security advisor. This decision aimed to secure support from both Western allies and China, showcasing a dual approach that could bolster the nation's defense. Furthermore, the development of Mongla port, alongside cooperation with China, stood as a beacon of hope for enhancing Bangladesh's maritime security. This initiative also had implications for limiting India's naval movements in the Bay of Bengal, which was crucial for Bangladesh's defense strategy. Moreover, the potential collaboration with China on biodiversity and maritime security in the Bay of Bengal offered Bangladesh a strategic advantage over India. This partnership included the development of unique biodiversity areas, enriching both nations in different aspects. Within this evolving landscape, figures like Professor Yunus played a vital role in Bangladesh's recovery. His leadership inspired many professionals in the technical field, as his influence was seen as essential for guiding the country toward a democratic transition. On the other hand, India's actions, like visa restrictions and airspace denials, raised eyebrows and were viewed as violations of international law. Such practices negatively impacted Bangladesh, further straining the diplomatic ties that had once connected them. In this context, Bangladesh was actively exploring alternative relationships, forging connections with countries like Pakistan and China in response to India's assertive policies. This newfound direction hinted at a potential realignment in regional alliances. However, Bangladesh felt increasingly hindered by India's decisions regarding train routes, which adversely affected regional connectivity. This situation created tensions and disrupted the mutual benefits that could have been achieved through transportation. Throughout history, the relationship between India and Bangladesh has shaped current political dynamics. Bangladesh was striving for a more equitable relationship, questioning the fairness of India's approach in bilateral agreements. Public sentiment in Bangladesh reflected a growing frustration towards India's perceived patronizing behavior. This dissatisfaction loomed large, potentially impacting future cooperation and diplomatic relations between the two nations. Lastly, there were concerns regarding the slow pace of the trial process, which left opportunities for key individuals to evade justice. This delay posed significant risks for future governance and stability. However, hope lingered as international support for the trial process strengthened. With backing from the UN and the International Human Rights Commission, the legitimacy of these efforts became clearer, potentially accelerating the pursuit of justice. As we reflect on the evolving relationship between Bangladesh and India, it is evident that both nations stand at a crossroads. Calls for India to reconsider its approach grow louder, and a positive shift could open doors to improved diplomatic relations.